Adrian, how's it going? Hello, Adrian, can you hear us?
Yes.
Hey, how's it going, Adrian?
It's going good.
Great. I see here that you have evidence that God exists, and I am very curious to hear that evidence.
Okay. Yes, it's pretty good evidence. I believe in a creator God because of the evidence that was left behind, like the distance from the earth. From the sun that the earth is, and things like DNA and the moon and tectonic plates, things like of that nature.
Okay.
Let's see. There's also about 20 different animals that I can think of off the top of my head that also show the appearance of design according to the experts.
Okay. Well, let's summarize a little bit, because I think those are like three super different things. So first you said the distance from the earth to the sun. I'm not sure exactly where you're going for, but I have heard this idea that the earth is kind of a perfect distance from the sun to support life. Was that kind of what you were going with that?
Yes, the Goldilocks.
Okay. The Goldilocks zone, yeah. Okay. Second thing I heard was tectonic plates in there, and then I also heard maybe that there's the appearance of design within kind of animal species on Earth. Does that kind of cover everything you were trying to talk? And yeah. DNA as well, it kind of being
DNA.
Okay.
Also, the moon also is a big giveaway to the appearance of design.
How does the moon? Can I ask? How does the moon give us evidence for design?
Well, if you do your research, a lot of the experts will tell you that the moon is, we're lucky to have the moon. Mm-hmm. And it's like a lottery that we won having the moon.
Sure. Okay. I see Gayle really wants to jump in here, huh?
No, I'm listening. I'm listening, Adrian. I'm listening.
Okay. Well, okay. So I guess
and I like that Gayle's on the line today. I like that you're running for office and everything. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Sweet.
Thank you.
So, Adrian, what I hear a lot of, there's a couple different directions of the points you're talking about, but I'm hearing a lot of these things look designed. They have to, the best explanation for what we're seeing around us is that there is a creator that designed the things that we see. And so I guess, my question to that is, how do we know specifically that it's a single creator or even a creator at all? How do we know that it's not just the apparent forces of the universe? Is it, it may be unlikely, or it may even be, close to impossible, but would you count out that there could be other possibilities to what we see besides the creator of the universe? Or do you think the creator of the universe being, existent as, creator of these things is the only thing?
No, that's not the only thing. That's just the thing that it looks like right now.
Okay.
And I'm not saying that that's what it's going to look like forever. I'm just saying that's what it looks like right now.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
We could get more information in the future that tells us that there is no creator God. But right now, it looks like there is a creator God. And that's what the experts are saying.
Which experts do you mean? Because, when I think
when I talk about DNA, I'm talking about the expert like Richard Dawkins and other experts like that say that DNA looks to be designed, but they don't know why.
Well,
and then there's also experts that on the moon and astrology experts that say that the moon looks to be designed, but they don't know why.
Well, you do know Richard Dawkins is an atheist.
I do, but I don't care about his religious beliefs. I just care about what he knows about DNA.
Well, okay.
That's what he's saying is that it looks designed, and he doesn't know why.
If he is an expert, don't you think his opinion on his beliefs on what he's seeing might matter? But I'm only pointing this out because, something can look apparently designed, but that doesn't necessarily mean it is designed, right? Can we think of some examples of maybe that would be the case? Maybe snowflakes. They're very intricate.
Well, I would like for you to, if you think that there's something that could be like designed like that, and something that has at least 5 things that look designed about it, and it's not designed, then I would like for someone to come up with something like that, because I can't think of anything except for the Earth.
Sure. Well, I think the example I was going to start with, I think, is snowflakes. If you ever look at a snowflake and the kind of crystals, they look very intricate. They look like they have these kind of patterns going on to it, but we can very much explain the physics that happens when a snowflake is...
One pattern, but I'm talking about 5 things.
5?
And, at least 5 things. And that's just, I'm giving you an out there with 5 things, because we have way more than 5 things that we could look at and say that we're designed here on Earth. But I'm just giving you 5 things because I'm giving you an easy out. I'm like, can you think of something that has at least 5 things that looks designed about it and it's not designed?
That looks. I
want to hear something like that. Can you think of anything?
So this is kind of a catch-22 for me, though, because if I don't think that anything is designed, then that's everything, right? So, I'm a naturalist in the sense that I don't believe necessarily.
The cars are designed, don't you? The cars.
Cars are definitely designed by human beings. Absolutely, yes.
A Mercedes-Benz is designed, right?
Sure. Absolutely.
Okay. Can you think of anything that has 5 things that look to be designed about it, but it's not designed?
I don't know why 5 things in particular has to be kind of the criteria.
I'm just giving you an easy out, because we have way more than 5 things that make us look designed, but I'm just giving you an easy out. I'm like, can you find anything that has 5 things that make it look designed and it's not?
5 things that make it look designed. I guess, we could talk about the philosophy of what makes something designed and what's not, but I do want to hear Gayle, because if you have any thoughts on what we're talking about here.
And I'm listening to you, Adrian. I'm actually trying to think ahead. I'm probably doing you a disservice by trying to get to what your point is. And what I think you started out with saying is that you have evidence of Jesus. Is that the word you said?
No, just creator. Just that we're created. Yeah.
Is that right? You said that you have evidence of a creator.
Creator, God. Yeah.
And you
right.
have, and that evidence.
We can't talk about Jesus. We can talk about Jesus and all the other gods that you want to after we figure out if there's a creator God or not.
Understood. My mistake. I thought that's what you said. So what I heard you say was, because something looks like it's been designed. Is that? Could you?
No. I'm trying to see if something that looks to be designed is not designed. Like, do we have anything like that? Because everything that looks to be designed is designed.
So, and I guess let me bring this up. So when I asked you, if you talked about a car, when we look at a car and we say it certainly does look designed, and we can look at I don't know what you do with a car, blueprints. There's something, there's some kind of manual that you can see the pieces. You can observe the factory where the line is, where the fenders go on.
Right, the radio,
we can watch all
the
of
wheels, all
That's
that.
Right.
Yeah.
And because it's a complex system, then we look at a human being and we go, goodness, that's much more complicated and complex than a car. So certainly it has to be designed. But do you see the difference in a non-organic car that's been pieced together?
Yeah.
And a self-replicating organic.
I see what you're saying. Okay, now think of this, Gayle. Think of this. Okay, if somebody won the lottery 5 times in their lifetime and they're 100 years old, and they won the lottery 5 times in their lifetime, right? The Powerball jackpot, Powerball jackpot, and they won it 5 times, and they were 100 years old, right? Okay. And they won it 5 times. Would you suspect that there's a cheater involved in there somewhere, or would you suspect that this person is just really, 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 really lucky?
And once again, I'm kind of thinking ahead. What I heard you say then, you're making the comparison because our bodies are complex and we have an integumentary system and an endocrine system and a respiratory system and a reproductive system and all these complex systems that are in our body. That to you, because we have all of those things, that to you makes you say the odds against that, this is what I'm hearing you say, the odds against all of those systems working together are what is evidence to you of a creator?
Creator. No. The things that look created are what make me think there's a creator.
Mm-hmm.
So we got to follow the evidence where it leads, Gayle. And that's where it leads me right now, is to a creator.
Well,
and that's where it should lead you too. But for some reason, you have picked on the God of Christianity, I guess, and you're saying that God is not possible, right?
Actually, I'm saying all of them are not. So I'm not
all of them.
picking.
Okay.
We're
I'm not picking on
Yeah.
Christianity.
For sure.
Okay, I got you wrong then, Gil. I'm sorry.
But Adrian, you said this is where the evidence should lead us. And I think that's interesting you say that, because we have a very different interpretation of the evidence that we see. In fact, I think Gayle would agree with me in that when we look at the evidence, especially when we're talking about the natural processes on Earth that got us to where we are today, how our DNA was formed, how the tectonic plates were formed, how the universe was formed, we can our interpretation of that evidence is it was over a gradual period of time through long natural processes that didn't seem the need for a creator to be in there at all. We can look at fossil records on this earth and see a timeline of organisms evolving over time. We can definitely point out ancestry from modern day living creatures to that of creatures that aren't around anymore and lived in a different time period, and we see connections there. And there doesn't seem to me at this time, for there to be the need for a creator to be an explanation for anything that we see.
Basically, are you saying that this stuff happens by nature?
I'm saying nature determines our world. Yeah, sure. The natural laws definitely.
Okay, well, let me question you with this.
Sure.
If nature did all that, how come we're not seeing it everywhere then? Like all over the place, like in our own solar system at least. It should be, if it's natural, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, because you are exactly right in that we are living in a Goldilocks zone. We had very specific conditions to our origins, and in fact, it only gives more evidence for us being the result of natural processes, because if we saw life like us everywhere on Jupiter and Mars and Pluto, that would go against nature. That would go against what we understand how things develop and evolve over time, right? So the fact that...
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying. You're saying that we are we lucky? Or
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So we are lucky, right? So you're saying in the example that I gave earlier of a person winning the lottery 5 times in their lifetime, that person is more likely to you that, it's more probable.
No.
Adrian,
they are lucky, right?
Adrian, can I say something about the luck thing? We all had the reproduction classes when we were in junior high school. And if you look at the possibility, the minute possibility that you're here, the number of sperms that could have made you, the number of eggs that could have come into production, the way you were born, all of those, you are unbelievably, against all odds, incredibly lucky to be here, as am I, as is Dan. So, so my point is, I'm agreeing with you that we're incredibly fortunate, lucky, whatever the word is, to exist here, yes. And so, but what I hear you saying is that's your basis for saying then because the odds are so much against us, that means that there has to have been an interventionary creator?
No. I'm just saying that I don't think that I'm that lucky. I'm just saying that I don't feel that lucky. I just saying that I feel like there's more of a cheater involved, and I'm pointing out the cheater, and you're saying, I guess you're saying that there's no cheaters can't exist.
No. Let me address your metaphor. I think it's an interesting metaphor, but I'm not sure the connections go all the way, because we definitely know that cheating happens. In fact, we've observed cheating happens. We know that lottery cheaters happen because there is evidence of that. We see that in history. And so if we were to determine the case where if we wanted to decide whether somebody or not was cheating is within the realm of possibility in your scenario. Absolutely. Yeah. I think it could be a very likely explanation. Right? But here's the thing. Here's the thing, Adrian. I have not seen evidence of a God per se creating anything. I have never seen a God create anything. I can honestly say that, right?
Not even all the evidence that I just gave you?
I've never, no. Listen to what I'm saying, right? I've never seen a God actively create anything, okay? I've never seen it happen before my eyes.
Wait, hold on.
Creation is different from the act of creating, right?
Wait,
I've never seen.
Wait.
All right, Adrian, go ahead.
Hold on.
Yeah.
If I figure out a crime from 300 years ago, do you need to see that?
No, absolutely not.
Create that crime.
But that's the thing. But Adrian, I know crimes exist because I've seen crimes happen. Okay, you hear what I'm saying? I've never seen a God create things.
You don't need to see that suspect, right? You don't need to see the suspect.
No, but I know suspects are real. I know suspects exist. I don't know that a God exists.
Okay then.
You know, that's the difference, I think. Does that make sense, Adrian? You know, if Yahweh appeared before me and he like created a whole planet in front of me, yeah, that'd be pretty darn good evidence.
Okay.
Right.
Wait.
Okay.
You know that you don't need a personal testimony for you to. I mean, not a testimony, but was it when the suspect gives his he tells everything. When the suspect tells everything, what is that called?
Testifies?
Yeah, the testimony, right?
Yeah.
Testifies.
No. Like his word for word. What? You know what I mean? But if you don't need to hear it word for word, right?
No.
You can make your own determination from the evidence that was left behind, right? You
Sure.
don't need to
a confession,
hear
I think is what you're saying, right?
You don't need to hear the suspect say that he did it, right?
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
You don't need to.
You don't need to, no.
Because then there would be no people in jail right now because nobody's going to say that they did it.
Right. But we're talking about the realms of possibility here, I think. I know it's possible that somebody could lie. I know it's possible that somebody could commit a crime. I know that that's a thing because it's something I've observed. I've never seen a God, I've never observed a God create things. Now, that doesn't mean, you're right, Adrian, that doesn't necessarily mean that a God could create things. But why are we saying that that's the most likely explanation when I can show you these other things, when I can show you physics and equations and natural explanations for things that we're seeing every day? We see DNA mutate every day. We've observed this in labs. We've seen changes in our stratosphere. We've seen changes in... We've seen changes
Where else have you seen DNA mutating but here on Earth? Where else? Where else?
I never said it. I've seen it anywhere else here on Earth.
Okay.
It's not a claim that I've made.
Then it was just here. It was just here then, right?
I'm not saying it's impossible for it to happen in other places, but it has happened here on Earth, yes.
Okay, so for right now, it looks like there's a God, right?
No, I don't think so.
Well, if you're agreeing with me that all this other stuff, I mean, that's like me giving you P1 and P2, and then you're disagreeing with my conclusion.
I don't think so. I mean, again, your explanation for a God is no more. You have no more evidence that one God created the universe than two gods created the universe, or three gods created the universe, or four gods created the universe.
It doesn't.
You know, like you can come up with an infinite number.
What God looks like or how many gods there are. It just matters that there's a God. That's all I'm saying.
Well, but, you know, we can come up with potential explanations for things all day. We could say that Gayle is actually a hologram and she's not actually here in the building right now. And, yeah, that would explain why, you know, it looks like that she's here and why we can hear her voice because, oh, it's actually all fake. But is that the most likely explanation? I mean, that's what we have to think.
If you wanted to get to the bottom of that, you really could, like I did. But if not, then you could just say whatever you want.
So what do you think, Adrian? Because I do have other callers here, and this was an interesting call. But like, if I were to get to the bottom of this, if I were to really prove that God was the absolute best.
Do you want to know the truth?
Okay.
You want to know the truth?
I do want to. It is truth wanted. I do want to know the truth, Adrian. Okay. Tell it to me. What's the truth, man?
That's what I'm giving you. The truth.
Okay.
I'm giving you the truth with the evidence. With evidence.
You're giving. I'm seeing observations. You know, I'm definitely seeing things that exist in the world. Like DNA exists. Yes, human beings exist. So what? Why does that mean that there's a God?
Because of what the experts have to say about it. You're not an expert, but
I'm definitely not an expert. But I also know experts that disagree with that. You know, like, if you look at the National Academy of Sciences, the National Academy of Sciences, most of them are not Christian.
Yeah, like Richard Dawkins, right?
Like Richard Dawkins. He's not a Christian.
DNA looks to be designed.
It
I
has
think
the
that was a comment. I think that was a comment,
Yeah.
Adrian. He was agreeing with you. So it certainly does look designed because when we compare it to a watch, it looks complex.
That's
it
all
looks
I need
like
to know, Gayle. That's all I need to know.
that it looks like it was
looks to
designed.
be designed.
Yeah.
And that makes you and you
I
go
need.
from there to okay, there's a creator because it looks like it was designed.
Well, that's one of the options that's available to me when you talk about God or no God, right, Gayle?
I mean, maybe it could be aliens.
Sure,
I mean, there
it
could be a lot
it
of
could be
things.
Thor.
Yeah.
Could it be Thor?
Yes, but we don't know what God looks like, so Thor is an option for God. Gayle, do you realize that?
Yeah.
Yes, I realize that, Adrian. Yes, I do.
Okay. We're not talking about what God looks like. It doesn't matter what anybody looks like because, I mean, how would you feel if somebody was like talking about your look?
Adrian, you have taken your position and correct me if I'm wrong. You see a complicated thing, a complex thing, and you say, this is such a complex thing, it has to have been created. My question back to you is...
No. I'm not saying it's complicated. I'm just saying it looks to be...
You said it
created.
looks
the
to you
appearance
like
of being
it
created.
has the appearance of having been created.
And that's not what I said. That's what the experts say.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm not sure what your resources are. I'm gonna go with Dan here and say 97% of the 97% of the sciences with the National Academy of Scientists with the NAS don't believe that there is a God.
But they believe that it looks created.
We can agree that something looks like something. It looks like.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what your
But you're not saying it's okay. You're not saying what its appearance is. You're coming to a conclusion that you've gone from its appearance to the conclusion that yes, now there's a creator.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, that's what the evidence shows, Gayle. That's not what the experts are saying.
I disagree. I think we just simply disagree about that. I don't believe that's what the evidence shows.
That's okay for you to disagree with that, but if the evidence shows it, then you're just disagreeing with the evidence.
I'm disagreeing with that.
Adrian, here's the thing. You're telling us that, the evidence shows this and the experts agree, and we're telling you, actually, no, most experts don't agree with your conclusion. How are you getting it both ways, dude? Why do you get to say the experts say that this is true, and then you're denying the experts' opinion on God? You don't get to have it both ways, dude. Either you're taking the expert's opinion or you're doing it your own way, dude.
No.
Which one is it?
It doesn't matter what their religious beliefs are.
It certainly does.
What they find in science. What matters is what they find in science.
You're making a religious claim, Adrian.
Yes, and you're basing your religious claims on science. Are you not? Are you basing your religious beliefs on the claims of science?
No, I have no religious beliefs. I just go by what the evidence shows, and that's what it shows is that there's a God.
Well, I think we just have to disagree on this one. But Adrian, thanks for calling in. My suggestion to you,
Well, now you.
My suggestion, oh, he hung up. I don't think he meant to do that. That was interesting. Wow. Well, there we go. So that's what bothered me at the end there. It's just that he's saying that, the experts are saying that this is the case. And then we're saying, well, actually, the experts don't have that opinion. But the evidence says otherwise.
Well, and we were finally unearthing what we were getting to, which his claim of a creator, he's trying to couch that that's not a religious belief. And so it's some kind of scientific creator then. I'm not sure. We were sort of finally getting to what his point was.
Yeah.
He started by saying there's evidence for a creator, and he did his whole evidence thing. But ultimately, what he was trying to say was that's not a religious belief. I think that's what he was
he was trying to say that too, but that's interesting because, again, he's using the observations of science. Right? Like he's talking about DNA, and he's talking about those are all facts that came about through lots of study and lots of lab tests and lots of smart stuff that I'll never be able to do. Right? But there is a point where you have to disagree with what other people have to say for sure. But you can't have it both ways. You can't say that, that the experts, this is what the experts say, but if the experts don't believe it, the religious beliefs suddenly don't matter. Well, I mean... Right.
You did a good job with him.
Well, thank you. I mean, you did too. I mean, this is just, I could tell there was a bit of frustration going on with him a little bit because it seems so obvious to him that we're just not getting it, right? And I definitely... I can relate to that in a sense, right? I mean, like, I'm sure there's lots of atheists when we have these conversations, people are like, what are you not getting about this?
Right,
you know what I mean?
right,
But
right.
I don't, you can only tease out these things so far. I think we got pretty good conversation. I think if we kept up with that conversation, we definitely have made even more progress. I wish he hadn't hung up there at the end there, but
It happens.
it happens.
Thanks for calling, Adrian.
Thanks for calling, Adrian. I hope you call again. That was a good conversation, I'd say.